what I'd like to teach you is doing the corkscrew turn and then going into the pirouette, into the spiral over the head. If you were to just hold your arms out here and then you were to turn so that you get the momentum of the poi being flat, what you then do is when you stop, or if you, I mean, because you could do this from stillness too, right? I don't have to be moving. So from here, if my arms are going to the right, what will end up happening is my palm of my right hand is going to stack on the back of my left hand like this. And what will happen is, if you look at just the hand gestures, they'll go like that. The left will come in from the front. If you look this way, the left comes in from the front, the right comes in from the back, and then they stack. Okay, so you can do that you can do it from stillness, where you just stack one, or you could do it from the turn. Now, the challenge with doing it from stillness, if you don't know how it feels, is generating enough momentum to get it to actually do the full spiral. I think this is a little bit harder because you have to know how much you got to swing it to make it work. But if you start from moving, then the next question is, what do I do? I get it in, and then what? Now, you can stand there and let it come out, but what I recommend you do to get it to pop out cleanly is, you come in like this, the two poi are wrapping this way, I would snap my hands to the right in the opposite direction. So what you're doing is what I call a snap back. And if you looked at it visually in front of you in the vertical plane, I roll in with it, and then I snap back the other way. I roll in with it, and I snap back the other way. You're doing the same thing over your head. It's just in the horizontal plane. So you roll in with it, and then you snap it back the other way. I tried to do that slowly, and then I hit myself in the face. Boom. And when you snap back and go the other way, you can turn your body the other way to exit into the counterclockwise corkscrew. The flatness of your plane does impact how it wraps around your hand, but the placement of the poi in your hand will also matter. So if you're holding your poi at your fingertips like this, when you wrap around your hand, it's going to wrap on the tips of your hand, which is tougher because if you notice, if you have hands like mine, you'll notice my pinky is much shorter. And as a result, when it wraps, it may or may not hit the pinky, which means it may or may not wrap evenly. So I put mine way down here so that it's wrapping around the palms of my hands, right? That's me. Your mileage may vary. This is one of the reasons I think it's easier to do the horizontal one than it is to do the vertical one, because in the vertical direction, you have to position it on your hand in the right direction so it doesn't fall off the tip. But when you're up here, right, so if I'm too close to the tip of my hand, right, it's falling off the edge. Whereas when you're up here, it's going to fall down towards your head no matter what you do because gravity is always pulling it down. So it's a little bit easier in that regard. I'm doing my corkscrew, lovely. And now I'm gonna go around like this, lovely. Now I do this wrap. Now what you could do on your exit is come out, either come up in the other direction, or you could come out and then go into the corkscrew the other way if you wanted to do that. Or you could do what you did, where you just did a plain bend and you went like this. So you came in, up over your head, went like this, and then when you came down, I think you went to underhand weave, which that works too. If you're coming in from the left, so this way, your right hand is in front and your left hand is in back. So it's the palm of your left hand is on the back of your right hand like this. At least that's how I do it. I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but that's what feels most comfortable for me. And then you could just even work on this too, where you're going from one to the other without the turns in the middle. The direction that you're turning in hand goes on top. Yes. Whichever direction you're turning in, that hand goes on top. So if you're turning to the right, right hand is on top. If you're turning to the left hand is on top. And then the thing that I'm also doing in the middle that might be helpful if you wanted to be able to stand there and just go between one and the other. Now watch, I spread the hands and then I bring them back in. And when I spread the hands, I can give it more acceleration to come back in, which keeps it up so that it doesn't whack me in the face. I mean, you can get more and more competent with it, but when you're starting, that extra extension in there can really help give it the momentum that you need. And I would maintain a slight bend in the elbow so that you're not feeling really stiff and locked up here. And I think you can use the elbows to help pump things around too. Your thumbs keep getting caught in it. Okay, tighten your thumbs against your hand and let it go around your thumb if it wants to. And then when you do the snap back, spread your fingers to help push the leash off of your hand and make it pop more out from the spiral. And also, what might be useful is if you practice, instead of practicing going in from the corkscrew, practice just from stillness where you go like this into it. Because you're coming in evenly when you come in from this. If you're coming in from the corkscrew, one is already up top, and there's multiple ways that you would be learning it, right, with either one on top. And I guess the other thing that I would recommend is if you're gonna start from stillness and do that thing to the side, notice I have my elbows bent here, and as I take off, I am accelerating them out to the side to give it the arc or the line or the extension, I guess. Expansion of the arms. The reason I was having you do this, where I said expand in, is because as I'm exiting here, I go back to that same sense of expansion that I had you doing from the stopped position. So it's like, almost like you're doing, if I were to give you the visual equivalent in front of you, it's like the spiral, then extend back into the spiral, then extend back into the spiral, as opposed to just keeping it tight like this, which I think takes more skill. Probably because you don't have a lot of poi flowers yet, and we haven't done a lot of poi lattes drills. Right now, you're propelling the whole thing like this from your arms. I want you to, from stillness, right, and then from your arms. I want you to watch the difference with my body, how I'm doing it. I'm twisting so that I'm using the momentum of my core to help propel it, and less of it is being generated by the arms. Also, that'll help with your RSI because you have to use your hands less as well, and you can use the bigger muscles down here to help.